It's my son's birthday coming up. He likes chocolate cake. I do too. We're going to make something a little different. This is a triple chocolate cheesecake. I'm going to attempt to make it. It looks really good. And we're going to see how it turns out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get some ingredients out. We need a bag of Oreos, some cocoa, vanilla extract, sugar, icing sugar, 2 boxes of cream cheese, some butter, 4 eggs, and some chocolate chips. That ought to be enough to make our chocolatey cheesecake. So let's get the food processor out, and we're going to do the first thing, which is the crust. And into the processor goes my bag of Oreos. 24 is what the recipe called for, and this stupid package had exactly 24. I'm afraid they're going to get smaller and smaller to the point where I'm going to have to buy 2 bags in order to get the right amount. But that's neither here nor there. So we put the Oreos into the food processor. I can't get it to work. Oh well, how about I plug it in? That would make it a lot better. It only takes a minute. Grind them all down in a nice powdery, well, not really powdered, but crumbly. And there, that looks pretty close. I'll take it off the food processor, just kind of check it out. Looks good to me. Now this is going to get dumped into a bowl. It doesn't look like much, does it? But there's plenty there. So we'll put the blade in that aside. Now into a smaller bowl, we're going to put some butter. 1/4 cup of butter. 3-4 tablespoons. Melt it in the microwave. There you go. Nice and liquidy. And this is going to go into our Oreos. Just like that. There. Now we mix it up. So just grab a fork and kind of coat all the Oreos with the butter until it's not powdery. Kind of like that, really. Now here's a springform pan. I'm spraying the bottom. Mistake number 1. Not only should I have sprayed the bottom and sides, I should have put some parchment paper down. Next time I'll know. Live and learn. Into our pan goes our Oreos, because this is the bottom crust. And there's just enough there to make a decent crust. So we're going to smush it around and kind of pat it down, get it nice and even. As best we can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And put it aside. Now in order to save dishes, I basically took the bowl we had the Oreos in, give it a quick rinse. Not hurting anything. And that's what we're going to use. So into that goes our packages, or 2 packages of cream cheese. And now we need some icing sugar. 1.5 cups. I carefully pour it out without making a ginormous mess. 3 tablespoons of cocoa and 1.25 cups of our chocolate chips. Now we're going to mix it all together. A little bit of vanilla, about a teaspoon-ish. This is my daughter's homemade vanilla extract, which is pretty cool, I think. Mix, 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 mix. Now we got to do the eggs. 1 egg and mix. 2 eggs and mix. 3 eggs. Oops, not the shell. And mix. And our 4th egg. And mix. Looking good so far. If this isn't chocolatey, I don't know what is. So here's our pan. And this is simple. We're just going to take our cream cheese chocolate mixture and pour it on top. Come on. Well, I got half of it out, but the other half wasn't coming out. So let's get a spatula and get it all out. There we go. And put that aside. Just kind of make sure it's somewhat even for baking. Looks good to me. Now with that, I got to put some water in because I've read that as long as you put water in, the cake won't crack in the oven. Well, we don't want that. So I've got a pan with water. So into the oven, 350. This is going to bake for 55 minutes. And when the 55-minute mark's done, we turn off the oven, open the door, and let it cool down for another hour. Once that's done, looking good, now we're going to let it sit for another hour to cool down. This does take a while to do. We're going to wrap this in some tin foil, put it in the fridge now, overnight, couple 3 hours if you really want to do it this day, but his birthday isn't until tomorrow. So I hope you can see here that it's come away from the sides. I got to unbuckle it now. I haven't really used a springform pan that often either. So not only am I not an astute baker, but I don't use this stuff very often. So the sides come away just perfectly. And I think just because I'm going to keep the bottom in with the plate. So you got to make the topping. So we need some cream. That's 3/4 cup cream into the microwave for a quick minute to scald it, or you can do it on the stove. 6 ounces of our chocolate chips, tablespoon of sugar. Should make it nice and sweet. Mix it all around. Give it a taste. Tastes good. Now I get the idea of what we're going to have to do. I'm a little concerned about how liquidy it is. I threw a couple extra chocolate chips in there. And it's not quite melty, so I put it in the microwave. Tried to warm it up a bit and help melt the chocolate chips. It's a little thicker, not too bad. We're going to make it work. So here's our cheesecake. And now the idea is we want to pour the topping all over it. And I'm not so sure how well this is going to go. Well, so far so good. I know it's got to drizzle over the sides. So that looks good there. I would probably keep it like that, because as you're going to see, I kept on going. And once I kept on going, the plate filled up with the liquid. And it just made a mess all over the place. So don't get carried away. It didn't need to be all fancy and drip all over the sides. And I hope you can see there just how much I got chocolate all over the place. I just didn't film it. Well, this has got to go back in the fridge now to let it set up. And there it is, all nice and set up. It does look quite good. So now we're going to try a piece. And it's mostly set up. I would say maybe keep it in the fridge for a couple, 3 hours. It seems all right. Now the only problem is, because it was in the fridge, of course, the Oreo crust was giving me a hard time coming off the bottom plate. So I got my pie puller outer utensil. And I'm trying to get this piece of cheesecake out without making a mess. I always hate getting the first piece out. But that's the most important one. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I think I got most of it. Maybe not the best, but you know what? I got it to come out. I actually got a little bit of the Oreo crust, and there it is right there. Now, I will tell you that as I let it sit, it got easier to pull that crust up, and it was fantastic. So, my first attempt at cheesecake, I think turned out pretty good. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.